Everyone, a very good morning to all of you, and welcome back once again to another class of top 100 MCQs of IE and IFS Module A for the upcoming JAIIB examination. So, my dear friends, we have started this particular series where we are covering 100 questions of one module of one subject per week, right? जैसे इस week में we are going to cover the module A of all the subjects, the best 100 question. इसी तरीके से BCD होगा, and then before 1 week before the examination we are going to we are going to conduct the marathons for all the subjects. ठीक है, चलिए start करते हैं. Today is the second part, my dear friends, of this particular series, and हर क्लास में हम 20 क्वेश्चन कर रहे हैं. पिछली क्लास में हमने 20 क्वेश्चन करे थे. आई होप आपको समझ में आए थे, आई होप आपको चमके थे. ठीक है, चलिए स्टार्ट करते हैं विद क्वेश्चन नंबर 1 टुडे. Which of the following statements, and these are, my dear friends, quick revision classes. Of course, I am expecting that you have already covered it. Even if you haven't covered it, you will learn a lot from these classes. Okay, which of the following statements are correct with respect to the recommendations of committee to review FRBM target chaired by NK Singh? This committee submitted its report in the year 2016. FRBM Act, my dear friends, Fiscal Responsibility and Budgetary Management Act. It was enacted to take care of the fiscal deficit of the government of India, fiscal deficit of India. ठीक है, एंड देन उसके बाद इसके रिकमेंडेशंस को रिव्यू करने के लिए एक कमेटी बनाई गई थी. दैट वाज चेयर्ड बाय एनके सिंह. इट सबमिटेड इट्स रिपोर्ट इन 2016, एंड अकॉर्डिंग टू रिकमेंडेशन fiscal deficit should be reduced to 2.5% of GDP by 2021. No, it should be reduced by 3% by 2020-2021, and it should be reduced by 2.5% by, once again, yeah, it should be reduced by 2.5% by 2021-22. So this statement is incorrect. Along with this, revenue deficit should be decreased by 0.25% every year and reach to 0.8% by 22-23. बिल्कुल सही है. Overall, government debt to GDP ratio should be reduced to 60% up to 22-23. This is also correct. And इसमें से इस 60% में से 40% सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट का है and 20% belongs to the state government. Okay, so the correct answer will be only 2 and 3. Correct बताना. Yes, option B, 2 and 3 will be the right answer. Which of the following statements is correct with respect to the escape clause? ठीक है, escape clause, my dear friends, was inserted in the FRBM Act in order to if there is any deviation from the fiscal deficit target, then we can invoke the escape clause, or if there is any emergency situation in the economy, we can go beyond the fiscal deficit target by invoking the escape clause, which was introduced in FRBM Act in the year 2018 through an amendment. ठीक है जी, क्लियर है. तो escape clause basically होता क्या? For example, the fiscal deficit target for this year is 4.5%, and there is, let's say, there is a problem in the economy, there is a mishappening in the economy, due to which the government had to go beyond this 4.5%. So escape clause लगा के इसको 5% तक, यानी कि it can be extended by up to 0.5%. ठीक है, that is called escape clause. So it was inserted in the act through FRBM Act of 2017, not 17-18. As per this clause, deviations up to 1% of GDP from the stipulated fiscal deficit target, not 1%, as I told you, 0.5%. Government of India invoked this escape clause in financial 21-22 budget. No, it was invoked in 2021 budget because of obviously the COVID-19 pandemic, which collapsed the economy completely. Okay, and in budget 22-23, the finance minister announced that the government aims to reduce the fiscal deficit to below 4.5% of GDP by 25-26. This is absolutely correct. The right answer will be option D, and in fact, I believe we have achieved it. Okay. The FRBM Amendment Act 2018 has provided for limiting the fiscal deficit up to how much percent of GDP by 31st March 2021? Up to 3% of GDP by 2021. Although it was not achieved, it was not achieved. Why? Because obviously the COVID-19 pandemic hit the global economy and of course the Indian economy. So due to this, the targets of FRBM were not achieved. ठीक है, the right answer is 3%. लेकिन चलो टारगेट हमें पढ़ना तो है ही FRBM. Consider the following statements with respect to the FRBM Act, and you need to identify the incorrect statements. Very important. The Act provided for reducing the fiscal deficit by 0.3% per annum and reach the levels of 3% fiscal deficit by 2008-9. बिल्कुल सही. Revenue deficit has to be reduced by 1% per annum and to eliminate revenue deficit by 2008-9. Yes, the target was to eliminate revenue deficit by 2008-9, although we we didn't achieve the target, and but the revenue deficit has to be reduced by 0.5% per annum. ठीक है जी, 0.5% per annum. So this is incorrect. Government not to borrow from RBI except by ways and means advances to meet the temporary excess of cash disbursement over cash receipts. This is correct. ठीक है, incorrect बताना है, only 2 will be the right answer, option B. Which of the following is not one of the objectives of FRBM Act? ठीक है जी, एफिशिएंट मैनेजमेंट ऑफ, देखो जो FRBM एक्ट था वो मेजरली 3 रीजंस की वजह से आया था. ठीक है, उसके जो मेजरली 3 ऑब्जेक्टिव थे. पहला था एफिशिएंट मैनेजमेंट ऑफ एक्सपेंडिचर, रेवेन्यू एंड डेफिसिट, रेवेन्यू एंड डेट, better coordination between fiscal and monetary policy, and achieving a balanced budget. All are the objectives will be the right answer. Option D will be the correct answer, my dear friends, to this particular question. Now question 6. There are some questions which are based on government schemes, important government schemes which are asked in the examination. Okay, you have to remember all of these. Of course, you being a banker, you are the implementer of these schemes, but of course कभी कभी ऐसा होता है कि जो चीज़ हमारे पास होती है हमें उसके बारे में जानकारी नहीं होती है. कंसीडर द फॉलोइंग स्टेटमेंट्स एंड आइडेंटिफाई द इनकरेक्ट. PMJDY accounts are eligible for an overdraft facility of up to 10,000 after 6 months of satisfactory operation, and yes, and it is available for the account holders in the age group of 18 to 65 years. Under PMJDY, free debit cards are provided with inbuilt accident insurance coverage of up to rupees 2 lakh, not 1 lakh, and that is called Rupee debit card. ठीक है. Life, this is incorrect. Life cover under PMJDY is provided for eligible accounts open up to 26 January 2015. No, it was up to 31st January 2015. So this statement is also incorrect. The right answer will be option B, 2 and 3 only. Consider the following statements with respect to Pradhan Mantri Suraksha Bima Yojana, and you need to identify the incorrect statement. It provides accidental death and disability cover for the people in the age group of 18 to 70 years. Yes. Suraksha Bima Yojana is for accidental death and disability, while Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana is the life insurance cover. The annual premium under this is 20 rupees per member. Yes. And along with the accidental death cover, the scheme provides hospitalization expenses as well. No. Do remember, Suraksha Bima Yojana is not a medical cover, is not a medical insurance. Right? It is an accidental death insurance or the disability insurance. Right? Disability का मतलब क्या है? So on accidental death there is a cover of rupees 2 lakh. ठीक है. On loss of one eye, on loss of both eyes. ठीक है. On loss of both the eyes यहाँ लिख देते हैं. अगर दोनों आंखें चली जाती हैं तो भी 2 लाख का कवर है. ठीक है. अगर एक आंख या फिर उसके साथ में एक हाथ चले जाते हैं तो भी 2 लाख का कवर है. एक आंख प्लस 1 फुट चला जाता है तो 2 लाख का कवर है. ठीक है. इसके अलावा अगर एक आंख जाती है या फिर एक हाथ जाता है या फिर 1 फुट जाता है तो 1 लाख का कवर है. ठीक है. तो 1 and 2 विल बी द इनकरेक्ट बताना है. ओनली 3 विल बी द करेक्ट आंसर. कवरेज याद रखेंगे, दैट इज ऑल्सो वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. कंसिडर द फॉलोइंग स्टेटमेंट्स विद रिस्पेक्ट टू प्रधानमंत्री जीवन ज्योति बीमा योजना. ठीक है जी. एंड बोथ ऑफ दीज स्कीम्स, माय डियर फ्रेंड्स, आर बीइंग इम्प्लीमेंटेड बाय मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ फाइनेंस. डू रिमेंबर दैट. ठीक है. एंड बोथ ऑफ द स्कीम्स आर एडमिनिस्टर्ड बाय LIC. ठीक है. एक्चुअली जीवन ज्योति बीमा योजना इज एडमिनिस्टर्ड बाय LIC. हाउएवर सुरक्षा बीमा योजना इज बीइंग इम्प्लीमेंटेड बाय all the general insurance companies which are interested. ठीक है. There is no particular implementing agency for that. So it offers life insurance cover of rupees 1 lakh for death due to any reason. Not 1 lakh. Life cover of rupees 2 lakh is provided on death due to any reason. The annual premium is 436 and the scheme is administered not by PFRDA but LIC. Right. So this is incorrect and 1 and 2 are correct. 1 is also incorrect. Correct बताना है हमें. Only 2 will be the right answer. Only 2 will be the right answer to this question. ठीक है. Consider the following statements with respect to Atal Pension Yojana. It is open to all Indian citizens in the age group of 18 to 40 years. Yes. However, the major focus, it is open for all Indian citizens. However, the major focus is on the underserved and unserved sections of the society which do not have the access to the pension benefits. The pension amount ranges from 1,000 to 5,000 per month depending upon contribution and age of joining. Yes. And the scheme is not administered by LIC but Pension Fund Regulatory Development Authority of India. So this is incorrect. Correct बताना है. 1 and 2 will be the right answer. Second. Consider the following statements with respect to Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana. The account can be opened in the name of a girl child till she attains the age of 10 years and only uh, only one account per child is permitted. बिल्कुल सही. Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana, it is a small savings certificate scheme, small savings scheme. Deposit must be made for 15 years from the date of account opening, yes, or up to the age of 21 years of age of the girl child, or till her marriage, whichever is earlier. ठीक है, तब तक अकाउंट में पैसा जाएगा. The interest earned is taxable under the Income Tax Act. No, the interest earned is exempted under Section 10 of the Income Tax Act. So it is incorrect. And the minimum deposit is rupees 250. The maximum deposit is 150,000, यानी कि 1.5 लाख रुपए. ठीक है. The deposits are also exempted under Section 80C of Income Tax Act. ठीक है. One can take the exemptions. So incorrect बताना है. 3 only will be the correct answer. Consider the following statements with respect to senior citizen savings scheme. Minimum deposit limit is 10,000 per annum. It is not 10,000, it is 1,000, while the maximum deposit is 30 lakhs. So this is incorrect. Maturity is 5 years, extendable by 3 more years. Yes. And deposits are qualified for tax deduction under Section 80C of Income Tax Act up to 1.5 lakh annually. बिल्कुल सही बात है. ठीक है. Correct बताना है. 2 and 3 will be the right answer. And since it is for senior citizens, so it can be availed by all the citizens who are 60 plus, along with those who took voluntary retirement in the age group of 55 to 60, and for all those who were defense personnel but retired and are of the age 50 plus. Consider the following statements with respect to National Savings Monthly Account Scheme, and you need to identify the incorrect statement. The maximum deposit allowed is 9 lakh for single account holder, yes, and 18 lakh for joint account holder. Single account के लिए 9 lakh है और जो joint account है उसके लिए 15 lakh. Premature closure is allowed but only after 1 year, yes, and there are of course certain percentage of penalty. An individual can operate multiple accounts subject to the maximum deposit limit, yes. ठीक है. And joint account can also be opened up to can be opened by maximum up to 3 persons. 3 लोग जो है वो joint account खोल सकते हैं. So incorrect बताना है. Only one will be the right answer. Consider the following statement with respect to Mahila Samman Saving Certificate, and you need to identify the correct statements. Correct statement हमें बताना है जी. So the account matures in 5 years from the date of opening. No, the account matures in 2 years, and the last date to open the account was 31st March 2025. Okay. The interest rate of 7% per annum is offered. No, 7.5%. So both of these are incorrect, and the account holders can withdraw up to 40% of the balance after 1 year from the date of account opening. Yes. Okay. So the correct answer will be only 3. Correct statement बताने थे हमें. Now some questions on the 5-year plans. Okay. So this way all the topics, my dear friends, shall be covered. You guys don't have to worry about all these things. Question number 14. Consider the following statements with respect to Bombay Plan, and you need to identify the correct statements. This plan was formulated in 1945 by the then 8 leading industrialists. बाकी सब ठीक है, but the year of formulation was 1944, not 45. It aimed to double the per capita income and the national income of that period. Yes. The total cost of the plan was 10,000 crores, which were to be invested over the 15 years. ठीक है. So question number 14, 2 and 3 are correct. Option A. The Indian Federation of Labour came up with an alternative plan to the Bombay Plan. The plan aimed to provide basic needs to all the people in the country within a period of 10 years. It was a 15,000 crore plan. Who drafted the plan? First of all, this plan is People's Plan. We are talking about People's Plan. Okay, we are talking about People's Plan, and it was formulated by Mr. M.N. Roy. Okay, M.N. Roy ने इसको formulate किया था. Which among the following plans has a fundamental feature of developing a decentralized self-sufficient agricultural society with emphasis on the development of cottage industry? So whenever you see this word decentralization, agriculture society, cottage, that is somewhat related to the Gandhian principles. That must be related to the Gandhian principles. Okay. So yeah, this plan that was again formulated in the 1944. It is called as Gandhian Plan by S.N. Agarwal. Okay, it was formulated by S.N. Agarwal. Okay, and it is a 3,500 crores plan. It was a 3,500 crore plan. Who was the chairperson of National Planning Committee established in 1938 to provide ways and means advances for the establishment of new industries and also for the development of the existing ones? 1938 में नेशनल प्लानिंग कमेटी बनाई गई. इट वाज कंस्टिट्यूटेड बाय सुभाष चंद्र बोस ऑन दी by the efforts of Subhash Chandra Bose, not only by him, by the efforts of Subhash Chandra Bose, and it was chaired by Jawaharlal Nehru. The right answer is option A. Clear है? अरे हाँ कि ना? Consider the following statements with respect to the first 5-year plan, and you need to identify the incorrect statement. It was based on T.C. Mahalanobis model. No. The duration was 1951 to 56. It was based on Harrod-Damore model. Harrod-Damore model. T.C. Mahalanobis नहीं था. The targeted growth was 2.1%. Okay, the targeted growth was not 3.6, it was 2.1%. The actual growth achieved was 3.6, and the duration 51 to 56. So the right answer is incorrect. बताना है only 1 and 2. During which of the following 5-year plans India borrowed from IMF for the first time due to unforeseen circumstances like Indo-China War, Indo-Pak War, and continuous droughts? So 1960 to 70 was a bad period for the government for the country. And 62 में we had Indo-China war, 65 में we had the war with Pakistan, and there were continuous droughts. ठीक है. और 66 से 69 तो हमें प्लान हॉलीडे रखना पड़ा था, यानी कि हम एनुअल प्लान पे जी रहे थे. ठीक है. So this was during the third 5-year plan when India borrowed from IMF for the first time, and the duration was 1961 to 66. The last question for today: consider the following statements with respect to fifth 5-year plan, and you need to identify the incorrect statements. ठीक है. This was the first plan when the government gave the slogan of Garibi Hatao. This is correct. The emphasis was on PM 20 point program. The plan was terminated when Janata Party came to power in 1970. All of them are correct. So I think this should be, we need to identify the correct statements. Okay, this was the first plan in the country that was terminated. Okay, all 1, 2 and 3 will be the right answer. तो सही कर लेंगे अपनी PDF में, correct statements हमें बताने. ठीक है. All 1, 2 and 3 will be the right answer, my dear friends, to this question. Alright, that's it for today's class. I hope all the questions are clear. I'll see you tomorrow at 8 a.m. Goodbye, take care, and God bless.